Lucy the elephant was midway through her second pregnancy, but this birth was protracted and troublesome. After enduring many hours of distress, she finally delivered. Peering in to catch sight of the newborn, the park personnel were taken aback. The employees at Amboseli National Park in Kenya quickly summoned a vet when they realized that Lucy, their resident elephant, was on the brink of giving birth. Lucy was no stranger to motherhood. She had given birth 2 years prior. Her first pregnancy took the staff somewhat by surprise, as it was arduous, and she seldom exhibited signs of strain. This time, they identified the pregnancy at an earlier stage. The birthing process was awkward, as if Lucy felt ill at ease in her own body. The pregnancy seemed tougher due to her apparent distress. The park caretakers decided to monitor her closely and were fully prepared when she began restlessly pacing and trumpeting in her enclosure. Yet it seemed this delivery would be far tougher than the last. Lucy endured hours of excruciating pain, crying out to her herd and the staff as if pleading for assistance. Nothing seemed to alleviate her discomfort. She paced erratically, leaning against trees for relief. The birth was progressing at a torturously slow pace, making it even harder to endure. Her plaintive cries echoed through the brush, booming off nearby cliffs. Predators and onlookers drew near to investigate, wondering if an easy meal was within grasp. Thankfully, Lucy's protective herd surrounded her, forming a deterrent. They appeared concerned but focused on repelling intrusive interlopers. The park personnel waited with bated breath, hoping she would pull through this dreadful ordeal. As the duty vet watched on, poised to step in, Lucy suddenly became still. After a few tense minutes, one of the park rangers approached to see if she had delivered her calf, but what he saw left him dumbfounded. He hurriedly beckoned everyone, exclaiming in sheer wonder. The others rushed over, only to be stunned by the incredible spectacle. Lucy had delivered twins. The incidence of an elephant giving birth to twins is so uncommon that it has almost never been documented, making the event a phenomenon. Indeed, the last observed instance was in 1980. Everything was beginning to fall into place, explaining why she appeared so large during her pregnancy. She was nurturing 2 elephant calves, not just one. Following the initial surprise and elation at seeing twin elephant calves, the park staff became deeply worried. The occurrence of twins in the wild is unusual for a unique reason. Mammals, like elephants, are not designed to rear more than a single baby, as it can be incredibly taxing. Usually, the weaker of the 2 progenies lags behind. Their worries heightened when they observed the reaction of Lucy's older daughter to the twins. Distinct from the other elephants in the herd, she seemed visibly bothered by her twin brother's arrival. Instead of demonstrating the caring attitude of an elder sister, she looked at them with deep-set, furrowed brows. The staff wanted to step in, but they couldn't. Operating within a national park meant they had to let life unfold naturally, which translated to simply standing by and watching. Normally, older siblings in elephant families are affectionate and welcoming towards their younger ones, but it was different here. The older sister stamped her feet near her brothers and feigned charging at them. They were barely an hour old, but it didn't stop her from making her sentiments known. Lucy was too tired to deal with her daughter, but fortunately, the herd stepped in. Elephant herds are tight-knit and functional, allowing Lucy to depend on the elderly family members to correct her daughter's behavior. One of the older females gently separated the young elephant from her mother and brothers, tenderly stroking her trunk and gradually pacifying her. This was a relief for the staff, as they didn't want the newborns to come to any harm, especially given the symbolic importance of their birth to the entire elephant community. They continued observing Lucy and keenly anticipated the twins' actions. Watching the newborns attempt to stand is always an emotionally charged spectacle. They sway precariously, unable to maintain balance, as if their limbs are not their own. The same was true of Lucy's twins. When one of them stood up, he appeared sturdy, took a few steps forward, and then promptly toppled onto his behind. Regardless, his determination was unyielding. He swiftly tried to rise again, only to succumb to another fall. He was significantly hefty, and the personnel could already visualize him as a commanding adult in the foreseeable future. His sibling, however, faced a colossal challenge in rising to his feet for the first time. Undoubtedly, he was giving it his all, but his efforts seemed inadequate. The only movement visible was his head bobbing up and down as he endeavored to get his feet under him. This struggle endured for a half hour before he finally relented. The observers could see he was overburdened with strain. Although his fatigue was comprehensible, it stoked serious apprehension. The situation was ominous for the second twin. The first twin lingered in his clumsy meandering, coming to his mother, nuzzling and caressing her torso. His presentation of affection was sincerely moving. She invited him to her and began to nurse him. But while she tenderly attended to him, the staff caught her glancing nervously at her other progeny. This astute elephant comprehended she had two infants and expressed her need to assist the second one. When Lucy witnessed her second offspring lying in the grass, her unease was palpable. Notwithstanding her fatigue, she promptly arose and approached her infant, prodding him with her trunk. Upon his non-responsiveness, she began to emit alarm sounds. The group noted this behavior and began moving closer to assess the circumstances. The twins' gesture was warmly received by the herd, yet upon nearing the fatigued twin, their mood shifted. Their calls turned grave. They solemnly ambled up behind Lucy, almost in a display of unity, trying to console him with their presence. Another mother from the group advanced, leaving her own baby to assist Lucy. They used their trunks to encourage the adorable infant to rise, but his reaction was minimal. It was clear that Lucy and the other elephant's anxiety was mounting, fearful that the infant could not get on his feet independently. They began a rhythmic foot stomp, at a loss over what to do next. Lucy flapped her ears at her baby, a stark sign of disappointment that was hard to miss. This emotion was palpable within the herd, who now shared her alarm. Seeing this distress was devastating for the park personnel, but they were powerless to intervene. It appeared that the second twin wouldn't survive, with the group displaying signs of mourning for what they believed to be his impending demise. A wild creature unable to move independently was essentially a sitting duck, and this tragic reality was obvious to all. However, just before disaster struck, it seemed the infant elephant grasped the severity of the situation. Regardless of his own feelings, his mother and kin were steadfast at his side, prepared to extend him every support and encouragement necessary. Summoning his reserves of strength, the tiny creature attempted to stand. He pushed and swayed with all the might his frail stature could muster, and as his body at last gained separation from the ground, an astonishing spectacle unfolded. The surprise was evident on the young elephant's face when he realized his body was no longer resting on the earth. He anticipated a topple, bracing himself for a tumble. But this time, circumstances were astonishingly different. Unexpectedly, he felt his mother's trunk firmly wrapped around him, offering the much-needed support to stay upright. This unexpected occurrence stirred a newfound determination in the juvenile elephant. He was able to maintain his equilibrium even after his mother eventually released him. Aided by his affectionate mother, he pulled himself onto his feet and took his inaugural steps. His pace wasn't as quick as his siblings, but he was in motion, and that mattered most. The dynamic of the entire valley pivoted. For the first time since the birth of the twins, there was a glimmer of hope that all wasn't lost. Upon seeing the twins strolling, the herd trumpeted in joyous harmony, their exuberance spelling evident relief. Their youngest had tackled and survived the first critical hurdle of their lives. The elephant family raised their trunks and roared harmoniously, signifying to the entire valley that the latest additions to their family would indeed thrive. The teams allowed the jubilant herd their moment of celebration and retreated to their campsite, their hearts filled with inspiration from the spectacle they just witnessed. Not many could claim to have beheld the marvel of twin elephant calves' birth and the striking demonstration of teamwork between the herd and the calves. Initially, back at the camp, the news was met with disbelief. The campers first perceived it as a ruse. However, upon inspecting the unfocused snapshots of the twin calves, the camp dwellers couldn't help but feel a tinge of envy towards their colleagues' experience. As dawn broke the following day, every camper demanded to be taken to the site of the miraculous birth of the twin elephants. The spectacular sight of two miniature elephant calves was observable to all, their differences discernible even from afar. One of the rangers shot an enchanting picture of the captivating twins and posted it on social media, aiming to let the world take in the awe of their entry into the world and the strong bond already building amid the herd and the infants. The photos became a sensation online, gathering thousands of supportive comments. However, the post also attracted unwanted attention. Amboseli National Park in Kenya was a favored destination for tourists, especially elephant aficionados. In reality, over 1,600 elephants resided there. Visitors from every corner of the globe arrived just to gaze at these magnificent behemoths. Therefore, when the snapshot began proliferating on social media, everyone clamored to see the infants, all excited about the unusual occurrence of elephant twins' birth. Attention is generally good for attractions like parks, but it can also reap negative effects in the form of rapacious hunters who like to capitalize on such circumstances. Owing to the viral pictures, all the hunters in the vicinity became aware that valuable rewards were roaming the park on small, unsteady legs. This meant the park needed to bolster its security without delay. The park was no stranger to calamity concerning its elephants. In fact, they lost 10 infants in 2017 alone due to a variety of illnesses and traps. Hunting was a horrific issue they faced daily. There was nothing more heartbreaking than patrolling the park and finding a seized or lifeless animal. The situation deteriorated to the degree that they had to employ over 300 rangers from the local community to safeguard the elephants. The rangers worked in rotation, safeguarding the cherished land on which they all dwelled. When they discovered 2 extremely vulnerable elephant infants in the vicinity, they pledged to protect them. They devoted substantive time tracking the newborn twins for security and ensuring the well-being of the charming creatures. Thanks to them, they observed a notable decline in the second twin's condition. For a number of days, he appeared well, but now that was not the case anymore. Rangers contacted the park's veterinarian and asked him to visit the newborn elephant calves. The following day, he assessed the condition of the second twin, confirming that everything was all right, alleviating the park staff's worries about his health. However, nearing him seemed like an uphill battle as the calf's family and herd circled around him, prepared to defend him from potential threats. They could not fathom that the vet had only arrived with altruistic intentions. The veterinarian, observing the elephant calf from afar, stated he was perfectly all right and would continue to be. But it became clear once the calf started to move that his condition had deteriorated more than anyone had thought. Concern began to creep into the veterinarian as he observed and listened. It was evident that the calf wasn't flourishing in his environment. Regrettably, there were limited options at his disposal. How could he aid the calf without altering the natural flow of life? He harbored a dreadful intuition that adversity was imminent. As a result, he braced himself for any calamity. Initially, he obtained approval from the Wildlife Commission and then moved closer to the calf. Upon initial observation, it was apparent that the calf required extra assistance with nourishment. The veterinarian persisted in monitoring the appealing little calf and observing its behavior. After a few hours, he was convinced that a prompt injection with supplements would do wonders for his delicate well-being. The veterinarian identified the ideal location for the injection on the little elephant and requested all those present to assist him. And that's when chaos ensued. The calf was petrified at the sight of approaching humans. He had never seen them this close before, and the one approaching with a large needle seemed daunting. Consequently, when he realized they were coming towards him, he started scurrying on his feeble legs in a desperate attempt to evade them. Veterinarians and park keepers frequently rely on tranquilizers and darts to soothe animals they need to handle. But this doctor had to get closer to the calf before administering the supplements. He was required to evaluate its weight and adjust the correct dose of medication to guarantee its effectiveness. However, the examination of the calf turned into a serious endeavor. Beyond the initially fearful demeanor, the little calf seemed to find pleasure in the pursuit. This showed that the baby was neurologically intact and only needed physical support. Luckily, he was in the best environment for this. Once the veterinarian got close to the baby elephant, he administered a shot and proceeded to stimulate him with physical activities, aware that this would aid his recovery. He cleverly converted therapy into play to increase the baby's willingness to participate. Thus, the veterinarian began interacting with the adorable baby elephant daily until his older siblings started mimicking his movements. With this, he allowed her to take over the therapeutic activities with her younger brother. Even though she was initially unhappy about the arrival of the twins days prior, she soon began to earnestly take on the older sibling role. She was thrilled that her mother continued to shower her with love, and now she had additional companions to play with. Due to the veterinarian and Lucy's combined efforts, the second baby elephant managed to keep pace with his herd and achieved sufficient health to function on his own. The park was graced with a set of healthy twins, and numerous individuals got the chance to see them interact in their wildlife setting. In the end, everyone was a victor, a testament to nature's power. This is such a remarkable tale of fortune and resilience. Have you come across twins in the animal kingdom? How would you keep Lucy's babies safe from poachers? We look forward to hearing your views in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.